Well, hello and welcome to another midweek reflection. I hope it finds you well and you're having a good week. And one of the highlights of my weeks, each and every week at the moment, is the Castle Square conference call. Because on every Sunday afternoon for an hour, some faithful, anywhere between 8 and 15 of us gather on the conference call and share what's going on in our lives. And you might think, well, Phil, at the moment that can't be thrilling, but even though we're not doing much, we still each week have some news to share, some scandal to hear, and we even get one or two jokes most weeks. So watch out, Joe Lycett, because Anne Edwards is on your tail. And one of the conversational topics, didn't know where I was going there, that comes up every week is what we're watching on TV. And I know that that's a subject of many conversations at the moment because we are actually appreciating the distraction, the entertainment, the education, everything that TV has to offer us. I've said it before, but yeah, there can be negative shows on TV that don't offer a good portrayal of humanity or the world or our behavior. But there can be shows that are hopeful and educational and inspiring, and it's a mirror. It's a mirror of humanity. The best and worst of us is on TV. So I wonder what you're enjoying at the moment. Perhaps, like me, you're someone who enjoys the ridiculousness and the fun of Would I Lie to You each week. Or maybe you started watching that brooding detective drama, Bloodlands, that started on BBC One on Sunday night. I haven't watched it yet, so no spoilers. I have recorded it. Or you might be an avid Gogglebox watcher and you enjoy watching people on TV. Yeah, that makes sense. And that starts again on Friday for those of you who are looking forward to that. Well, one of the shows that I'm currently obsessed by is called WandaVision. I think it's quite simply genius TV, but it's not for everyone. It's a genre-busting, twisted drama that weaves together a pastiche of American sitcoms from the 1950s to the present day with a dark story about superheroes and witches. As I say, it's not for everyone. At the core of it, though, is a reflection on loss. You see, Wanda Maximoff, the eponymous heroine of the show, has endured great childhood trauma. And then years later, after she watches her husband suffer and die, she wants to escape the world of pain and grief. So she creates this alternative world away from the real one, where everything is always perfect. Lawns are always well kept, teeth are bright, and nothing can ever go wrong. If something or someone comes along to threaten this perfect, pain-free world where she is in complete control, she simply gets rid of them, and they disappear from view. In many ways, it's heartbreaking to watch, but I think it's very relatable. I'm sure we all know people for whom the hardships of this life prove just too much to handle. Perhaps we've even been one of them. And so through denial or substance abuse, or simply distance from real relationships, from real people, real conflict, we protect ourselves from ever being hurt again. Or so we think. Well, sometimes church communities can collude with such an outlook. Sometimes churches portray being a Christian as leaving the world of sin and sadness and instead joining a non-stop love fest where smiles are fixed, worship is like a party and everyone is happy. Everyone is happy. And any notion of conflict or doubt, pain or loss is wiped away by the benevolent dictators of that particular world. And it's quite a nice world to visit, as Wanda's probably would be. But it's not real or lasting. For we will struggle and doubt. We will experience failure and loss, feel pain, and at times despair. And we cannot pretend otherwise. And why is it such? Why did God allow the oppression of the Israelites in Egypt, as we looked at last Sunday? Why would God have let Wanda's husband or any of our loved ones die? Why doesn't God simply wipe away conflict and COVID, pain and loss, like a benevolent dictator? I wonder how you would answer that if a friend asked you. Or I wonder how you have answered that when tragedy has come your way. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of the God has a plan, God's testing your faith, or everything happens for a reason kind of explanation. Instead, these words from our Lent book, which proved to be quite divisive in our first discussion on Sunday. If you want to come and join the controversy and see what it's all about this Sunday, 5 o'clock. But these words from our Lent book speak and resonate with me. There is not one clear theology of God, Jesus, or history that is presented, despite our attempt to pretend there is. The only consistent pattern I can find is that all the books of the Bible seem to agree that somehow God is with us and we are not alone. Faith is simply to trust the real and to trust that God is found within it. Faith is simply to trust the real and to trust that God is found within it. You'd think I would have remembered that. This week, then, I invite us all to spend a moment considering that outlook. The one that tells us that trust in the real and trust in the God can be found within it is the way we should go. That says God is with us and we are not alone. We are not alone in our partying or our weeping, our thriving or just about surviving. That we are not alone in our living, in our dying, or in our rising. And perhaps you just want to thank God for that, to take a moment to be grateful. Or perhaps it doesn't feel enough, and you want to share with God your anger, your fears or frustrations, because they're real, and God can handle them. Or perhaps you might want to contact someone who needs to know that they're not alone. Whether that's someone who likes to pretend that everything is always wonderful when you know it can't be. Or someone who's all too honest about how it's not. So that's the invitation for this week. For us to think about what it means for us to believe that God is with us and we are not alone. To simply trust the real and trust that God can be found within it. So that's it from me for this week. For now, go well, and remember that you are loved, wanted, and you are not alone. See you next time.